this really.
Well, it's more about like once it's up, it's like something people can watch. I'm not worried.
Totally.
I'm not going to be. Yeah. I'm intentionally not going to be looking at how many people are or aren't on the thing. So don't worry about that.
Right on. We're live now. We are now live, and I'm just going to view this on YouTube to make sure it's running. That's what I do. See. Oh, and so you can go if you go on the side and you click comments, you can see the comments.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then the private chat is you and me.
Private chat is you and me. I never end up using that, but yeah, send me. Just be like, don't talk about that.
What's the fastest thing for you if I have an emergency? Nothing matters. It's fine,
man. Yeah. I've been out in New York, man. So I'm not embroiled in any scene gossip and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's you'll be the one who has to not mention stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a fucking hermit. So the odds that I'll even know about anything going on is highly rare.
No, but you're professionally like very, very rooted in a specific scene, even though you've also done work all over the map aesthetically, tons of variety, but you're also like really dialed into a certain vein too, right? I mean, you're like,
yeah, I mean, I stay friends with a lot of the people I work with. When it comes to bands in New York, that's a lot easier to do. And I think, I think that people there's just people I see around all the time too. I'm still really tight with like Tyler and Greg from Liturgy, and I'm still like, those are like very close friends. I'm still very tight with like Nick from Corrales. I see from time to time. Like
I saw him last night, man.
Yeah. The Mario. The scene in New York is the New York scene specifically is kind of like a very like it's like the academic snobs of metal.
Yep. Right? No, it is.
Yeah.
It really actually totally is that.
Yeah, like they're all trained as fuck. Like everyone's like reading Kierkegaard and shit, and then like practicing their scales. I mean, it's a very unique.
Is Kierkegaard training? I don't know what that's training you for.
Yeah.
But what's up? Piran as well.
Right. Yeah. Doug, I know. I've met him a couple times.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see them. I'm seeing them next Tuesday, I think, at Vitus. We should go. You should come.
I would love to. It's right down the street.
Yeah, you live very close to Vitus. I'm living out in Glendale now. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Glendale, Brooklyn?
Glendale, Queens.
New York?
Yeah.
Glendale, Queens.
Yeah,
I don't I mean, I know the Glendale out west.
Yeah.
And that's where you just were, so that's what I thought you meant for a moment.
Yeah, no.
Totally. Where the fuck is that?
Well, it's like Ridgewood, right? So if you're in Ridgewood and you just keep going on Myrtle until it's like far from the train, and it just gets a little more suburban, that's where I'm at. And it rules, dude. It kind of rules. Huge. It's where All in the Family took place. So Archie Bunker is like what it's like what we're dealing with out here.
Ridgewood is kind of the spot, I guess, these days. And TVI's out there, and
it's so good, dude.
It's a great fucking area.
It is. I lived there from 2005 to 2019. And it's like before I moved to LA, and it's like now I can't afford to live there now that I moved back. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's already done. Like it was hot. Like maybe, I remember my friends were moving there in like 2012, Mm-hmm. And they were some of those friends. So it's one friend who like grew up in the Chelsea hotels. Dad's a famous painter. Like he's always kind of ahead of the curve with that stuff. And he was checking Ridgewood out in like 2012, 2013.
Yeah. No, dude, I was there in 2005, man. Fuck everyone, dude.
Yeah.
I was but I'm saying this Glendale, I don't know how it's going to develop because it's so far. It's like you have to take a bus to get to the train. But I keep saying the second I see a hip coffee shop, like a hip one, like a sterile looking, like really good one. The second I see that, I'm mortgage broker. I'm calling. I'm buying something because I won't get fooled again, or not fooled. I won't miss my shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fool me twice.
It's like if I had bought something in Ridgewood in like 2005, dude, I would just be like king of New York right now. Sort of.
A favorite that's on the wall somewhere.
Yeah, man. Luke Cornwell says Kierkegaardian black metal treatise. When, you know, I
That's
mean,
up to you, Charlie.
yeah, well, that would do. I mean, if I wrote a black metal treatise now, like post Ravenna, post Hunter, post Liturgy, it's like it would almost be a troll or something.
It would have to be. There's no other way it could be taken seriously. Yeah,
Be like,
I mean, it never has been.
I took it seriously. I take Ravenna's work very, very seriously, but not everyone has to. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I haven't actually really checked in. I haven't seen them since they were Hunter, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been a long time.
The new music is so crushing, man. It's so good.
I do want to check it out. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to make them my first video, and they ended up being my second. And this was like 2011. And
was that you, the Returner video?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Damn. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so that was the janky shit. Yeah.
Well, it's only janky compared to what you've been doing since. I remember. Here, I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit. I'm getting some red here.
Yeah, it was $1,000.
Nice. Hell yeah.
I spent it on a piece of plastic that was reflective.
You've always been very resourceful, dude, because I remember them showing me that video when we played with them in Germany in like 2011 or something. I think it had premiered while they were on tour, and like we were in Bielefeld, Germany.
Nice.
And opening for them. Yeah, and I remember in like the hostel place, they were like, yo, check this out. But I didn't know you yet, because I met you probably soon after that.
Yeah. God, when did we first meet?
Like,
was it through Mario?
It was. I think it might have been through Andrew Hawk, possibly. Like,
who I also didn't really know. I'm trying to remember. I think I had seen him around, but I'm trying to remember how we first met. But yeah, like that was definitely. And then we didn't work together till when? Was it like 2015, 2016, something like that?
Yeah, 2015. I hit you up to do the Not Guilty video for Psalm Zero, which everyone should check out. Hey, man, despite whatever feelings I and a lot of people have about the first wave of Psalm Zero, regardless, that video, I revisited that, and I'm like, that shit is hard, man. I feel good about that, man.
Yeah, y'all had some... I mean, the concepts were fantastic. Like, I feel like y'all were dealing with something and talking about something that I had yet to really see articulated before when it comes to music. Or like I think like something like the Safdie brothers kind of like that reminds me of that kind of realm. But like just everything about the concepts in that song and everything about it was a fun one. It was a tricky one to figure out how to articulate, for sure.
You know what was tricky about that, though, man, is like, I don't know if you remember. I can't remember which, but one of the really high-profile police brutality, BLM centered killings. I don't know if it was like Philando Castile or what. Like happened like the day that the fucking video got premiered, and it was just like, dude, it's like this doesn't have enough heat on it already after Andrew's just like cancellation, incineration, like just furnace cancellation. And then
you're like, perfect.
And then
I'm not going to be that asshole complaining about this. Yeah. I can't be publicly seen complaining about this.
Yeah. And then it's just like this video about like the drug trade and cops and sort of race, kind of obliquely.
Yeah. Well, it was about privilege. It was about Jewish privilege, right?
Yeah.
It was like
to an extent,
very specific, and people, some people are can escape the law, and some people are
are beholden to it.
So it was interesting timing.
But it's kind of from a sneering, from a sort of from the bad guy's standpoint or something, or
Yeah.
But you made
the privileged kid. Yeah.
No, you made it. Yeah. No, you made it really very like cops, like the show, like the show Cops.
Yeah. There were some blurred faces for sure. Yeah. It was enjoyable. That's something I revisited later too. Like, I love a pixelated face.
Hell yeah. But so great. So that's how we met. Because I think it must have been Andrew told me to. Because I remember him being like, "No, this dude's Zev. No, this dude's Zev." He did, you know. And
I bet Nick told him. I bet Nick was like, "Yo, he hits Krellis up like once a week. We can't because Mick Barr doesn't want to do videos. Someone needs to work with this guy."
Oh, is that you were hitting up Krallis and Krallis was like, "No."
I hit them up a couple times, and I've just been. Yeah, I think like way early, like I'm like probably like 2010, 2011. And and Mick was like, my go-to is just the word no. Like they don't say yes to anything like that. Yeah. So that was like a white whale for me for a while. And now that I'm at where I'm at, like it's hard for me to explain it to my wife how I could ever work with work on the low budget end, even though I still do on occasion. Yeah. I'm not really allowed to anymore.
Oh yeah, that's like the equivalent of like going out with your bros. Like you're not allowed to. Like,
yeah, no. Like she's not the type to give me any shit about anything like that. But it's something that I think the standard I've just been slowly trying to establish for myself, off and on. It really depends. There's exceptions, Charlie, but there's some people who are good enough to where I can't say no.
But it's there. I think that it seems like there's a real value a lot of the time in having a woman who kicks your ass a little bit on the level of being
keeps you out of trouble.
Just being like, you're not getting paid enough to do that. You know what I mean? Or some shit, just being like, you're above that. And you're like, but babe, I want it. It's like, no.
Yeah,
like,
a mirror that talks to you and lets you know how fucking ugly and fat you've gotten, you know?
Well, I mean, broke is better, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant, yeah. But, yeah.
Man. So this is our intro to each other, man. I mean, I like, I don't know, should we start at the beginning of Zev or should we start from the new stuff, you know, from like where you're going? I mean, because, you know, I know you've got an origin story that is maybe not, Batman insane, but is worth getting into, right? I mean, how you got into how you became who you are.
I mean, you know.
Well, actually, okay. You know what though? You know what? So I keep interrupting. Before we really launch in, let's do a little introduction because not everybody knows the guests. You know, some of these
most people aren't going to know me. I mean, they might know some of my work, but I'm not a name yet.
Yeah, well, some people are your fans though who are on this. But yeah, so I'm here hanging out with Zev Deans, music video director, visual artist turned music video director, we'll say. And you know, I know Zev from New York, like we were just sort of going off about. Yeah, just a million amazing videos, largely in the heavy music world, the dark and lovely music realm. And Zev also has done some great album covers and design and layout and stuff for the last 4 records I've done: Extra Life, Simple Answers, and the last Psalm Zero, last 2 Psalm Zeros. Zev did all that stuff, so he's been really important to my visual, thing because I'm not as much of a visual cat. So Zev has been super important to what I've been doing the past few years. But yeah, man. Where
do we start?
I don't know. What are you working on anything right now that's like particular, like you can talk about? I know you've got some shit in the queue that you can't talk about.
I've got a little something for I think I'm not sure if you've had both of these people on your show, but Oxbow and I'm wondering if I'm allowed to say this right now. I don't know if I don't think it's been released, but I think the hint I'll give is that it's a woman who you've worked with, and I'm not sure whether or not they've been on your show. Has a lot of heat right now.
Yeah, she's not yet been on the show.
Okay,
yeah. I think it'll happen, but it's got to be the right, whatever. But yes, right. So yes, yeah, an unnamed, mysterious, hyper talented woman. Artist and musical artist and Oxbow. Yeah, because I had Eugene Robinson on here from Oxbow.
Yeah. Just a favorite of mine since I was a kid, so that was pretty unreal to work with them. And that one is quite it's actually inspired by like Barry Lyndon, like sort of just sort of 1700s era kind of aesthetic. We did it on location in some beautiful historic sites, and it's hopefully gonna not be too silly. It should be pretty cool. But
1700s, yeah. The yeah, where what is it like? You did it like a castle or what?
It's like it's like I don't know. It could, like, if you were to see Barry Lyndon, like in America, this would have been like Revolutionary era, and like so wigs and buckles and shit, you know, and yeah, and there's some sword fighting.
Really?
It's I don't know if you've seen like Ridley Scott's The Duelist. It was his very first film.
Okay, no.
But right before Alien, basically, and that was a heavy inspiration. So it's just beautifully shot. It's these two men who are obsessed with dueling, and it's Harvey Keitel, who doesn't bother to try a fucking English accent. He's just fucking talking like he's in fucking the Bronx or something.
I like that when people don't, or people who do the slight British. Just to indicate that it's not now or here.
And then he just goes back to Harvey fucking Keitel. Like he did that in fucking Last Temptation of Christ too. He was like, "Hey, Jesus," like the fuck. But
I haven't seen that.
It's the same. Yeah. So that's a touchstone for sure. Just like and I think that's I've said too much, but it's fine. I don't know. I don't want to give too much else away, but
okay, no. This. I mean, so Eugene sword fights in this, or he's rocking a sword. Oh my god, shirt on, or what is he wearing?
The shirt does get torn. There is some chest.
One would hope. I mean, no homo.
Yeah. We show a little chest.
One would hope. Dueling, man. I've thought about that. Like how that level of honor, man. Like, could you imagine just that level of like, you're like, all right, someone's going to have to die. I mean, I guess people do that on some like really low class, like just like whatever, like hood shit or whatever. Like, it was the 17th century's version of hood shit. It was like, beef. It was beef, like you'd squash beef by dying, Right. So, and I think that's why they do have that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why Barry Lyndon's so fucking good, because, these people, it shows how absurd these things are, how absurd these men would be when they would challenge each other to a duel, and it's the most sarcastic thing I've ever fucking seen. That movie is so good. But
they're saying dueling is bad, or that's the
well, Kubrick is always saying
don't duel.
People are stupid. Look at them be stupid, enjoy how stupid they are. I don't think he's putting any moral judgment on it, but he's certainly like, look at these assholes. Like,
well, I don't know though, man. I should watch that movie though, for sure. Cause I'm like, when I think of dueling, I'm like, I've thought about this actually a lot before even talking to this.
It's coolish. It's cool as hell. It's cool as hell. It looks cool.
I guess what I'm talking about, where it's like it's nowadays that only goes down in like sort of like a hood situation, a gang thing. It's like in the olden days, like high-born men would just do violent, insane shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like nowadays, people who went to college don't even fist fight. Like, you know what I mean? It's gone down to the point where like if you even have a job, you don't throw hands. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas even our parents' generation, at the country club, you might have a brawl or something.
That was the thing. I mean, one of my favorite things, and this is something I've always wanted to make a film about, so I won't give away too much about it, but because it's miraculously somehow no one has done it yet. And so I won't name the thing, but I will talk about that there are all these, like the big thing that was going on in the 1700s in like London was men's clubs, gentlemen's clubs. And and these were like the Mohawks, the Marauders, like they had these gnarly fucking like biker gang names. And they would all just get drunk off their asses and go out and like get in horrific fights, die, like stab each other in the streets, just like stab like homeless people. They were all lords. They were all these like wealthy assholes, just basically like a Tasmanian devil hurricane around the city, just absolutely nuts. None of that shit happens anymore. Elon Musk has like 12 bodyguards around him at all times. Like, you know,
I know.
very, very soft hands.
Well, you know what he's doing though? That's like the super high class meets super low class thing is like having a billion kids. That's some shit that like only the really high and really low do. Like people in the middle are like one, maybe two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
and they have different names for it, right? I've seen those. It wasn't memes. It was like people were comparing. I think it was. Oh no, it's a Cracked magazine reference actually. But like the poor people would call a brood basically, and then the rich people would be called like a healthy family or something like that. I forgot the term, but yeah. But calling humans a brood is definitely a vibe.
But yeah, okay, right. So you got dueling, right? You got Eugene Robinson fucking dueling.
Yeah.
And when does that drop? I want to see that, obviously.
Well, I also want to see it. I haven't looked at it yet. I've been like, I'm probably gonna literally start editing it tomorrow. Okay. And then and I may or may not hire someone to help me with it, just because other things are coming down the pipeline that I got to jump on. But that one won't take too long. I think I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to say, but of course we're in a safe place here. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be a summer release too. I think it'll be pretty soon, like within like a month and a half, 2 months.
Fresh, man.
At the most. So that'll be soon. Tons of other shit.
Does it have any animation in it? Because like so much of your stuff, I mean, the thing I'm impressed about is just that you're able to do stuff that's totally on some animation vibe, and then other stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with that. I mean, it seems like technique wise, I mean, as far as, because I mean, what you did with Psalm Zero, that's completely.
It was like live action and found footage,
live action and found footage, and it's very
whatever the job requires, you know. I'm like I'm kind of like I get bored easy, and I'm not particularly good at any one thing, and so I kind of like to experiment and like, okay, so like I'll use a project as an excuse to learn something new a lot of the time. Like that just came out from Mizmor. I worked with his incredible AI team because I was, and I got another one. So so I worked with one of these same people earlier on a video for it's a band I've worked with before that's fucking very well known. They may or may not have been featured in an Ace Ventura movie. And we did some really wild AI stuff. Along with live action and all kinds of other crazy shit. But
were you saying you did AI stuff also in the Mizmor video, or
yes, yeah. So like that one that one is like greenlit, thumbs up. It was finished in January, but it's not going to release they have some crazy rollout plan where it's going to be a minute. So this one that just came out from Mizmor I worked with someone from that same team and basically, sorry, my head's all over the place. That is out now. So like that is technically, as far as I know, the first like heavily intense use of AI in a metal video that I know of.
But so you did 2 Mizmor videos, right? Because there's one from before, right? Is that?
Yeah. There's one that I did entirely by myself. That's like it's animated, and I did some actual frame animation, like hand drawn, like fucking 12 frames per second.
I saw that, not knowing it was you. I was like, they show music videos on this channel on whatever, Roku.
Yeah,
and then
that one was commissioned by Roadburn. And so it premiered for that, and then they had a proper release later.
Mizmor is sick too, musically. Like, I didn't even know their music until I saw that, and I was like, this music's awesome, and I'm really into this video. There's something about it that I'm getting, and then it's like Zev Deans, and I'm like, it's like there's 5 people in my life basically.
Exactly. The world is shrinking.
The best people. There's like 5 or 10.
The world is definitely shrinking. Dude. So Liam Well, I actually don't know if he's even wants people to say his name.
Why is everything so secret with you? You're not in the CIA. You're just some metal dude.
I know exactly, and none of it fucking matters. But there's all these funny. I mean, think about like I don't know. There's so many bands I've worked with that are actually like would be anonymous. You know, like Patushka is one. Ghost was one for a while, which is hilarious. Portal was kind of. I don't know if you consider Portal anonymous. They aren't now, but they do have, you know, names, and then you can find them on Instagram. But like, yeah, Batushka was the only one that kind of like needed to be anonymous because like we're talking like Polish government, like our video was taken down by the Polish government. Like we did this video.
What are they called? I actually don't know. I actually don't know this.
Batushka, or they would pronounce it Bachushka. It's like 2016 was kind of a big moment for them. They've got these like Polish like schema monk outfits. You don't see their faces. There's a whole shit ton of them on stage. There's a lot of sort of Gregorian, not Gregorian, but like Eastern Orthodox chanting. And the schema. And so I was in Poland and I filmed this video with them, and we went to these like these holy sites. So the schema monk is a really fascinating thing. It's like this. It was a pagan sort of practice that got co-opted by Polish, like by Eastern Orthodox Catholicism, and it started out as this pagan thing. Their churches are these wicked. It's very much like Norway, right? Like the way these churches would look, and they were built for pagan use, and then they were repurposed for Christianity. So all these like symbols that they were using, they had like they have ossuaries under the churches, and sort of just all these skulls and shit. Yeah. So it's very metal looking shit. Yeah. and they kept that symbolism. They sort of found ways to sneak it into their Christian symbolism, and preserve it. And so we were on these sites, and so that's why Batushka is kind of like it's black metal. Like they're basically Polish black metal. They're preserving like Polish pagan heritage through, you know, and like sort of like anti Christian, and so we were on these holy sites. And they had their own special robes made that looked just like the schema monk robes, to these wicked like black covered in like skull graphics and all. It's the most metal shit ever, and it's like hundreds of years old. And we're in there with these like inverted cross, like satanic versions of these robes, just like walking around outside, going in the church. No one chased us off. No one seemed to mind what we were doing because we were filming. It was obviously, you know. And then the video released. And all of a sudden, the main guy called me up and it was like, you gotta cover up the names of all the Polish crew and send me a new version, like immediately, like we're being raided. And so like basically like the fucking Polish government so there's like they couldn't figure out who the members of the band were, but they found a fan site, and the fan site was being run out of Russia. And so the Polish government colluded with the Russian government to send Russian police to this fan site guy's house, raid his shit, and like basically like, who are they? Do you know who they are? Like, so that was like the most exciting. Like, I mean, and this is, you know, working with Nurgle too. Like, I feel like Poland is the last place where you can be metal and have it actually be like serious, it actually be like a threat, you know?
No, that's what I was gonna say. It's just like I a lot of the time I think about the way that people talk about like quote unquote like a status quo, you know, people use that word or the idea, like, but it's like there's so many different areas of the world like that, like that's the status quo. There is that like you can actually get in trouble with the government for being like satanic. Like over here, you're like, I'm satanic. You're like, here's a PhD, like write about it. Like it's the most like establishment. Hating Christianity is like so fucking establishment over here. Over there, it's like prison. Like you go to prison. You know, like,
you disappear. I mean, fucking Christ. Like, like Nurgle is in court every year, you know? If it wasn't for him selling all those fucking belt buckles, like he would be in jail. He wouldn't be able to afford the good lawyers, you know? Yeah, it's the one place where
I'm sure these guys get the when they need legal defense, the anti-Semitism just melts away all of a sudden. They're just like, yeah, mishpucha, yeah,
it's good, yes,
Yes,
you
yes.
go talk to him and get me okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes, my Polish landlord definitely treats me well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
wait, so that was Mizmor. Yeah, we're talking about Mizmor. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well Mizmor is just like I knew ALN, I'll call him. I remember that's what he goes by. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's I first saw his shit on like I think Cult Nation had like premiered his first tape. And this was back in like 2013 or something. I hit him up and we just started communicating online and knew we always wanted to work together, and met him a couple of times when he toured and came through Vitus and stuff. And then we finally got it together last year for Roadburn. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I'm not really sure, but I guess it would have been 2 years ago because it was remote. It was the one time Roadburn was remote, and then and so this one came naturally. Me and my buddy Brendan, who has just like starred in and shot so much of my stuff. Incredible dude, just like one of the best actors probably the best actor I've ever worked with. And he's also become really great at cinematography. We were already in Portland for some other stuff. It just kind of worked out that we're going to be there. I didn't know that Mizmor had just signed to Profound Lore. So like that was an easy thing to talk to Bruni about. And then Emma Ruth Rundle helped with the concept. Her and ALN worked on that. And then I got to work with the wonderful Adam Espino and Wolf Tijuana on the AI. They are absolutely incredible. And so it was just a really great sort of like if I wasn't going to be in town, I don't think we would have done it. I don't think it would have happened. So it was just the luck that I was already there for other projects.
So we can't watch this though because it's not out yet, right?
It released the Mizmor thing. Released to Monday.
Oh, okay, dude. Yeah. Can we watch any of that? Because I'm interested. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to take too much with the watching because the podcast version won't be able to hear it. But I'm interested. I want to check it out, the aesthetic, and then I'm interested in how the AI fits into this because it's probably a lot more obvious to you like what the AI what that even means. You know,
it's a pretty wild thing. I mean, you've got the stuff that we can go through. If you want to just flat out play it, I mean, it's a 10-minute video. I don't know if we want to do that without sound.
Oh, no.
Because if we do it with sound, it'll get pulled. Yeah. But I'll show you the stuff that we included. So basically, like we shot live action footage. We just shot on location and on this farm in Salem, Oregon, and basically we knew we were going to have these elements thrown in. And so we would sort of compensate for that in the frame, leave space. And the whole concept is that like, basically like just Liam is his fucking name. Liam, is the idea is that he's just like trying to get work done, like farm work. And this entity, this sort of shadow self keeps sort of interrupting, trying to distract him. And so basically, we filmed that, and then I went back home, and I started working with Adam and Wolf. And there's no real precedent for workflows with AI. It's so fucking new. I didn't know really how we were going to do it. I just knew that they were capable of figuring this out with me, and so we started experimenting. And if you want to show, so like I guess like the best thing to do. There's one image that says Mizmor process. I think.
Okay. Yeah. Should have been. This is a JPEG, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we call it in the biz.
Right. Fair enough. Let me. I'm gonna bring this down here. Let's see what's up here. I'm gonna do my little screen share.
I see a dear friend in the comments here. I see a couple.
All right. So check it out, right?
So let's see. So this is wild, right? So like we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know quite how we were going to do this. And we tried a lot of different things. They've been working with AI, the two of them, for so long. But this particular thing where I wanted to do AI but blend it into live action.
Yeah.
And have it maybe even potentially feel to some degree real. Like, we knew it wasn't going to be real, but we wanted it to look like, because so much of what you see with AI is very jittery. It's so immediately recognizable that you know it's AI, because it's just it's like really insane, intense, sort of jittery, nonstop transformation. But these guys have been able to. It's a guy and a girl. I assume it's okay if I say they're a couple, and that they work together on this stuff, and they're also in a band together. They've been able to really make it like fluid, and I mean, it's terrifying. It's going to take all of our fucking jobs, but you'll see here. So on the upper left is like the original footage of Liam walking towards the fire, right?
All right, yeah. So just a fire and then a man walking, and there's some space between the man and the fire, right? So we got
yeah, and then so basically, like, I would make so what we slowly figured out was that it was going to be the sort of, we're going to basically do collage work and then run that through. So I isolated Liam from the shot, as you can see in the image on the upper right, and then I overlaid some goopy sort of liquid stuff from like stock footage, right?
Oh, so that's not generated by AI. That's, you took him.
No.
Yeah, you isolated something, right, and then you added this stuff that's like looks like some. Yeah. Right.
And it's like goopy, and it tracks with him and stuff. And then you look at and then I give that clip on black to them, and then they run it and do just endless like refining based on like the direction we want it to go in. This is all sort of based on Beksinski's paintings and that kind of aesthetic. Who's Beksinski?
Okay,
he's like basically the Giger of Poland. He died in like he's like Mizmor has used his work extensively in their album art, and it's just like the darkest fucking most like very graceful, sort of like murky. Everything's covered in roots and like strands and like yarn and like nasty sort of textures, and it's very beautiful paintings that are very metal. It's metal as fuck, basically. So we wanted to kind of, that was our sort of guiding light with this. And as you can see in the lower left, like that was something that once they ran and got the right effect with the right prompts and stuff, and I say this, an article's coming out tomorrow in Revolver that I wrote about this process.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But right. I assumed AI was an easy thing to do, and that's why I think a lot of artists, there's a very good reason to be afraid of it, because it is definitely going to change the landscape. It's definitely going to fuck with jobs. It's not cool. It's I'm not going to diminish that when I talk about this, but the thing that everyone's afraid of, like, I immediately started playing with it when it came out, and like I can do still images easy. Anyone can go on Midjourney and make an image, but I tried video one day, and that shit is fucking hard. You basically have to know code.
Well, it's
not.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't even get it, like what it is. Like, so what? Yeah. So it's like you've got. So you showed them like a mock-up of this sort of goopy looking like strands coming out of the guy's body, right? And so then in the lower half, they have it. You've got a still of how they rendered it using AI. Well, so what is? I've seen AI video and art. Like, I know that glitchy, very fast moving transformation, like aesthetic. But like, do you know, I mean, even without knowing code, like, what is that? Like, what is it like a transformation based like, parameters that it feeds back into itself, kind of like feedback loops and shit? So basically like Ghost in the Shell shit. So like it's a hive mind connected to every search engine trained on, and I'm doing this wrong, I guarantee it. And there's someone who might be watching right now who's going to be yelling at the screen saying that's bullshit. That's not how it works. But as far as I know, they train it. You train something with endless data. You train it with endless artists and imagery and photos in different lighting. Like it's just so it's kind of like a search engine in that you can search any image in Google. Like it's combining all of that shit
you know, and it's doing it in an intelligent way based on the words you're using to hone down what it is you're searching for. So it's, as far as I can tell, it's basically like the ultimate search engine. It's the instant visual repercussions of that.
So you give it a database of stuff that you like aesthetically. Like you give it some of this this Polish artist, some Giger himself, a fucking still of the Black Lodge or something, some pornography or whatever.
Anything. Yeah.
You give it this stuff, and then it runs like transformations of the material of some new thing that you give it.
Yeah, and you're guiding it. You're guiding, like, so with that imagery, like the collage stuff, like that's guiding it how it should move, what it should be shaped like, the color scheme if you want to preserve the color, and it's just endless trial and error to sort of hone it down and figure out, because it's gonna fuck up. Does that I do okay? Adam says I'm close enough on the AI explanation, and yeah, it's very much. I mean, we just did endless iterations until we finally found the thing that like that's the aesthetic, that's what we're running with, and that's kind of what he was saying the whole time. Was like this the hardest part is finding the thing, and then once you find that thing, you can start to apply it to all the different elements that we're building. But you know, like these were processes that it's not like you can look up a YouTube tutorial where they tell you how to do this. This was like us literally just like fucking around until we found out, you know, like it's totally crazy.
I need to get up on this, man, because I mean, someone offered me someone who seemed to be pretty accomplished. I mean, or at least I don't know if they're like famous, but they've done a bunch of stuff to do like an AI thing for some of my music. And I didn't know what to say because they showed me some of their stuff and it looked awesome. Like it looked really, really cool, that fast, like glitching transformation stuff. But they had done a ton of videos for different artists. Oh, that's you. Cool. Okay. Well, so maybe we should.
I was about to say,
awesome.
I think that's the people I just worked with.
In that,
so now you have to continue saying what you're going to say, knowing that they're listening.
No, it's good. No. Let's be fucking honest, man. Let's be honest. By the way, because someone brought that up to me, and then I went back and looked, and I tried to find the interaction, or I can't remember if I didn't reply or something. I was like, no, I want to get back to them. No, I think the thing that I was unsure. I was like, this looks fucking amazing, but I had seen this same thing applied to like a bunch of different videos, and I was like, so is it just this? Is it just me being plugged into this thing that's already going to be the same for other stuff? Like, I just wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, the scary thing is that it can literally be anything you want it to be.
Right.
And that's what's terrifying about it. That's what's really getting people nervous. But the thing that I learned working with Adam and Wolf is that it's not fucking easy. And it's not just like you snap your fingers and something's there. I mean, we worked on that shit for a month, you know, like, I mean, they were up, we were, you know, I'm nocturnal. I'm up very late, like, and they're on the West Coast. So like, there was just a lot of late night hours just trying to figure this shit out. And it is,
I think I got to learn more about it. And I think, is that Adam 3D GFX?
Yes.
In the thing. Okay. So I should follow.
Blew up his spot.
No. It's good because I mean, there are things that like I find enticing, but then it's like when I don't totally get it, I'm like, I like bristle and I'm like, I don't know, you know, like I've almost got a paranoid thing where it's like, I'm like, is this somehow gonna like am I gonna be like somehow out of money after this is done? Like, I don't know, or you know, just
no. I mean,
like
I talk about it,
you know.
So the thing I say in this article is like, I'm basically standing before like the biggest trolley problem of my lifetime, where I'm both the person pulling the lever and I'm the person tied to the fucking tracks. Like, you are every time we engage with it, we are giving it more information, more data. We're training it more. So it's just constantly learning from us. But you know, it's not as far as everyone calls it intelligence. It's not alive. It's a fucking hyper speed search engine. Same with ChatGPT. It's spitting back information. It was trained to communicate a certain way. It's not fucking sentient, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are some that kind of make this argument that like all intelligence has always been artificial intelligence. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Stuff like
Prometheus.
you know, yeah, you know, and it's like, you know, capitalism itself is an AI.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and you know, it taking over isn't even a takeover. It's like, you know, that Elon Musk shit where like, you know, we're like a boot, like a what do you call it? Like a bootloader or like a just like a vessel to load AI. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it can sound, it's scary when it's like, fuck, we're going to be out of a job. But then it's like, I don't know, on some like grand historical scale, it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, let them have it.
It's somewhere in the middle. It's not really going to go down like that. It's there are going to be things, very serious things that will change the way effects houses work. Will change the number of people needed at an effects house, which is fucked up. Same with fucking music. Same with fucking writing. Like not obviously you're gonna hire like a known journalist who like goes and travels and does some shit and then comes back and like has some long form piece that's an expose on something. They're gonna keep their jobs, but the fucking mid-level journalist at Mashable who's supposed to write like a paragraph, like, they're going to be out of a job because
good. But as far as that goes, you could put them out in the street. As far as if that's, I mean, that's like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm very, putting
journalists out of business. I'm like, yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like, I'll happily joke about that with you, but at the same time, I think I'm very, very communist in my desire for everyone to have something, right?
Yeah, one would think,
yeah.
You know, one would.
Yeah, no matter how bad the content is, no matter how much garbage people are making, and how there are definitely too many people on this earth, still, I have trouble signing off on like making all of them suffer. Just some of them.
It's not about suffering.
And journalists, sure.
It's not about suffering. It's that mid-level or low-level Mashable type journalists doing these little things. It's not that they should suffer.
But some of them might be good journalists if they get a chance, right?
It's just that they should have no influence, clout, dignity, status.
They don't.
Maybe dignity.
They don't.
Maybe dignity.
They don't. They already don't.
I guess they don't. I guess that's true.
Because what are they doing? That's what they're doing.
I mean, I know. It's like, who are we anyway?
But they're probably young people who are aspiring to do something good and might get somewhere and get to do something good, you know.
I don't know, man. Someone's got to be the scapegoat on every episode. Right now,
the rich.
Right now, I mean, that would be actually the more appropriate.
Let's go with that. Let's eat the rich.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, right. So we're talking about this AI, right? So you've got like, so you're working on the Mizmor thing with this. What is that? The first AI thing you've ever done, or I can't remember what you said.
The one before I mentioned was the Ace Ventura, like that's
the band that was in Ace Ventura.
So I have a post on Instagram of that stuff. They said I could show some of it because I was like, a fucking year. You're gonna wait a year to release this. You got to let me show some of it just to like appease the people that worked on it. And so I have a post on Instagram that showcases that stuff. It stars actually Hazanga from Patriarchy, if you know her. I've known her forever. And yeah, like it was a really cool.
They're LA, right? Patriarchy.
Yeah.
I saw them play. Yeah. I saw them play.
Yeah, she's cool as shit. She does hilarious videos.
I like them.
Yeah. And yeah, that was our first attempt, but that's not going to be out. Like when they told me it was coming out in a year, I was like, this shit's going to be completely irrelevant in a year. It's going to be vintage effects. Like it's going to look like something totally different.
But vintage effects, but your stuff though, this is why I'm interested in you talking about doing this AI shit.
Right. Because it will make sense then, because all my shit's fucking
Yeah. Well, the thing I really like about what just your stuff in general, you know, from up to now, it's like it's basically like it's not lo-fi. It's very like classy, or that's not a good, you know, but like it's like very like craft oriented. It's not like lo-fi, like grimy.
Yeah. But it's got some analog vintage aesthetics a lot of the time.
That's
definitely
what I'm saying. Which to me, I mean, I like that because the craft is legible to people. Like I don't know anything about puppets, but I know that Portal video is highly skilled use of, you know what I mean? It's like whereas like AI, I can't tell like
Right.
See,
how that was done. Yes.
But see, maybe that's a deep thing about something like AI. On the flip side, not knowing how it's really works, then I have to just either enjoy it or not, and come to it in a pure way without knowing, like, ooh, the craft, how they pulled it off.
I think what we tried to do with this one was do something aesthetically, because like this is something Adam and Wolf will tell you, like there's so much anime stuff, like they can see they're deep in that world, and all the developments being made in that world are either related to porn or like anime or a combination of the two, and so like that's where all the tech's going. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
There's a lot wrong with pornography, man. But don't even get started.
Half of my shelf is pornography. But
dog, have you seen the AOC deepfake porn?
No, I haven't. Can we take 10? Can we take 10? Can we take 5?
It's not cool. It's not.
Oh, it's fucked up.
No.
Did someone on the right make it?
No, it's not fucked up.
Is it like a shame, like a face? What was this called? Oh yeah.
Well, it is definitely like humiliation and shit. But it's like, well, no, it's just disturbing because it's completely uncanny valley. Like, actually,
that's wild, man.
Real. I mean, like, it is hot, but I'm just like, get this fucking thing out of my computer. Like, I don't know. It was just like really.
It felt satanic. Like it felt like
yeah, I was like, I'm not supposed to be seeing this shit.
yeah. I mean, that's so there's so much of that. There's so much of like face app stuff and the shit like that. Like, so the legal gray area that creates is very confusing to me, because like, dude, there's so much of that stuff out there. Like, I'm sure that sounds like it's probably particularly advanced, but that kind of shit has existed for a minute now, and like, I don't know how that works. I don't know, like, if there's grounds for legal action or whatever it is, but it's definitely happening so much that it's like, how do you keep up with it?
When you open up Instagram and you're looking at a completely believable video of like Biden molesting a kid, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna be like, okay, I know that's not true. He wouldn't molest a kid like that openly, but like,
maybe he would.
Maybe he did. You know what I mean?
When you get senile enough, anything's possible.
And then maybe he decides, like, well, no one's gonna believe it if I do molest this kid publicly. They're gonna think it's AI, so I'm just gonna rock out with my fucking cock. Yeah, it's all deep fake. So, I mean, dude, yeah. Anyway, back to aesthetics and the human condition, such as it is.
Yes. We can talk Biden later too, for sure.
We absolutely are not going to. But I shouldn't have brought that up. But right, okay.
AOC double DP fucking
I know. Why did I fucking bring that up? No, because we're talking about
it's relevant. It's relevant. It ties in. You can follow our track or line of thinking, and
I got a question. Is there some reason why the AI aesthetic tends to be this like fast, like really fast morphing stuff? Because it looks cool, but it's like this very particular thing. Is there a reason why, or can't it be slower, or is that just what people?
I definitely don't know, but I do know that what we've achieved with what they're doing is very different and very smooth. I don't know why that is the way it is, but it's absolutely. That's why I think I was so excited about working with them, is because we were able to get something fluid. Okay. That but I don't. Yeah, I'm as I said earlier, like jack of all trades, master of none. Like, I do not know enough about that medium to be able to tell you. It's something that I send the collage over, it gets sent back to me looking way the fuck better.
Okay. Well, I did the self-effacing, jack of all trades, master of none. I find that charming, and I believe you, but I'm interested in what you mean though, because it's like, like, what do you think? Okay, this might be kind of like not how what do you think you're really crushing it at and bringing to the table? Because I know what I think, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? In a non-self-effacing way, like, feel like, okay, master of none, but
I can cook a really good. Yeah, I can cook a really good pasta. Like, I can make some good food. I eat too much of it. I think that I'm not good at. I'm good at bragging in indirect ways, but I'm not good at bragging in direct ways.
Okay,
so So if you're gonna ask me that, I'm gonna find a way to like deter or spin it. But but I definitely, I mean, I was a visual artist before I did video, and I was, I think I drew fairly. I can draw fairly well, and it has its own aesthetic, and it's just an intense aesthetic. But I haven't done it in so long that I'd actually probably be pretty rusty if I tried again. Well, as far as what I'm doing with this work, because that's the other thing, right? Like I've done so many different mediums with video, with music videos. I've done some like live action, green screen, animated backgrounds, fucking 3D, practical effects. And there's something I want to talk about next. One of the next things I'm working on is all practical. It's totally insane. But so many different like analog, vintage, like psychedelic effects, like all kinds of, and now AI. Like I'm always moving around, and so I never get all that sharp with any particular thing. So, but if I had to say what the through line is through all of it, I don't know. It's dark. I don't know. I fucking really know what to say.
True. Okay.
Yeah, it's dark, and I try to tell a story each time. I try to avoid band footage if I can, but if I have to do it, I try to make it count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, when we've worked on stuff, and I'm not even talking about the video, I even mean, well, the video too, but even just the album covers, man. Like that Psalm Zero album cover and Simple Answers.
This is just for the comments. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. Wait, what's the wine? What's the wine you're drinking here?
This is made in the region I shot the Mizmor video, actually. This is I've become friends with this guy. He's known for a wine called a brand called Marigny, and that is his private shit that he does in much smaller batches, called St. Reginald, and it's like Portland, Oregon. It's like huge Pinot Noir situation. This is like the best dude out there doing it in like the natural realm as far as like natural wine goes.
I got into natural wine on this last Extra Life Euro tour. I'm into it. But anyway, yeah, I know I was gonna say that like the shit that I'm just blown away by. I mean, yes, craft, you've got like great craft, but I'm like just conceptually, like when I've like told you what a record's about, whether it's a Psalm Zero record or Simple Answers, the shit that you would come up with in like an hour would be this thing that like at first glance, it's like the most bold, like smack in the face looking thing. And the most unexpected, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I don't know what I had in mind, but like, this is completely left field. And then after 2 minutes, I'm like, it could only be this. You know what I mean? Like,
you know how to make a go feel special, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm saying though, that's like with that Psalm Zero thing, you made this like prison, this like cube prison hovering in the sky. And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to come. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like that's like collaborating. But it was such an immediate thing. Like it was such because of the song we were working on already, like, just the themes of like sort of this and like municipal sort of prison system, sort of bureaucratic system, and like what's a Kafka-esque way to do that feels sort of like, and then it has to fucking be sick, so it has to be strange and impossible, right? And there you go. Right. Well,
Prison Cube. Yeah. Prison Cube done.
Yeah, see, it's the thing, man. It's like that I mean, it may be because you come out of visual art in the first place, and maybe not off the bat being like, I want to make music videos. It's like you're like dealing with just this like conceptual thematic stuff, and then always adding to it, not just being like, oh, those are the like that's what it feels like with your art stuff. It's not just like, oh, those are the themes, I'm going to render the themes. It's like, okay, those are the themes, and here's my next statement.
Because you can't. Thank you, because you can't just spit it back out. Yeah, what you get, what's going to make it memorable should at first be confusing. It should at first be startling and like not necessarily really reveal what it's about. Even, it's I think like so like my mom raised me on film and art, and my dad was a musician and a cook, and he had just an extensive record collection that like a bunch of wild looking shit. So I would just look at his album covers and stuff, and like. I was just, it was, dad's a musician, mom's a artist who is also a film critic. I'm a fucking music video director, like surprise. Mm-hmm. Like, so that visual language it was just I was just inundated with it, and it always blended with music, and it's just such a natural thing for me. Like when I think about like a Bowie album cover, or like just how something needs to be iconic, and what that means. It's like it needs to confuse me when I'm putting it together. Why it needs to, like, there has to be that element of like, I'm not quite sure why I'm divining this image from this experience, from this music I'm listening to, for example, like, but it's happening, you know. And that's where I know I'm onto something, when I confuse myself a little.
Well,
get a little hard, get a little chub.
I remember when someone, I mean, I get almost nothing but amazing feedback about the album covers and shit. But for simple answers, one person who ragged on it online, someone was like, "I hate this album cover. It looks like a video game." And I thought to myself, I was like, "See, that's why I like it, because that's the element of it that I did not ask for and did not expect."
Yeah.
And I hadn't even thought of it as a video game until the person tried to deride it as such. And I was like, yeah, there's something that he saw in this record that had this video gamey, like tacky almost aspect, or some kind of over the top, like shooter game shit. And you put it in there, and that's that shit where I'm like, I didn't ask for that, but it's what it needs. And
I mean, I could explain why that happens. So definitely there's various inputs going on. So I've done like, I don't know, fucking 10 videos for Health, and like Health's collaborations, and like John from Health is such a big gamer, and they made soundtracks for some of the most iconic games that exist. And I didn't touch video games my entire adult life. I wasn't allowed to have them when I was a kid. I had a Game Boy, that was it. And so so my wife, Rachel, like, she kind of caught me up. She was like, "Oh, you need to know about this stuff, because like the fucking garbage Hollywood's putting out, like games now have better writers and better narratives than most movies
and
that are
scores,
being put out."
Right? And scores,
everything. Yeah, the people, the artists that are working on this stuff. I mean, George R. R. Martin just did a fucking game with Miyazaki from Software. Now I know all these people's names. He's taught me all this shit. Like, now I know all the Dark Souls stuff and all this fucking stuff I would have just completely turned my nose up at, like, a couple of years ago, you know, because it's beautiful shit. It's insane. So like, that's definitely been in my subconscious as of late. That might have something to do with the imagery that came up for that album.
No, somehow that was, it was great. Okay. So what do you want to get into next? I'm interested in, like, obviously I'm interested in what your next project is. I am also interested though in this whole kind of, how do you get to be where you're at, life path,
constant failure.
I mean, but it's
not getting picked up by reps and like getting moved to the commercial world, just being a broke fucking
interesting. You don't like reps. Okay. Well, no, because it's interesting, because it's like, I just think, like, for musicians, people will ask me like, so like, what was your path to do, being able to do tours in Europe and shit? And I'm like, man, I could tell you my path, but it's just some weird zigzag thing. You ask the next guy and it's just some totally other thing. But at least with music, I have some sense of general possibilities of how one might progress in the industry. As far as being a music video director, I have no idea how one succeeds at that, how you rise up.
Me neither.
And get a rep. I mean, what did you do? You were doing visual art. When did you even like?
So I'll try to make it quick.
You don't have to make it quick. We go on for a long time.
Sit back, my friend. The year was 2010. I came to New York to be a visual artist. I got an internship with Matthew Barney because I found like a 2-year-old website of his saying that Matthew Barney needs slaves, and I emailed it thinking they wouldn't actually get the email. I had a dream where he and his people killed me after I asked them for an internship, and I immediately found this old email the morning when I woke up and like emailed this thing. I explained the dream in the email, and then they wrote back. and then that was my first like real job in New York. I'd been in New York for like 6 months, and this was in like 2006.
Dude, that's wild, man.
Yeah, you my fucking idol at the time.
You had a dream that they killed you
because I asked them for an internship. Yeah,
and then
in the dream.
And then waking up from that dream, then you went online and looked around at Matthew
And I
Barney's
found something that
website
was like an old post, and it said Matthew Barney needs slaves, and I responded to it, and I explained my dream because I also felt like there's no way they're going to see this, but I'll fuck it, you know. And then I got a call, and then I got on the train, and I realized like, okay, it's Friday the 13th. It's at 1 p.m. is the meeting. It's the 13th hour of the day, and it was on 13th Street. I thought they were going to kill me. I thought my dream was going to actually come true.
I believe in this shit. Do you? You believe in this, right? I mean,
magic is real.
Yeah. Magic is real, dude. Because you
Kenneth Anger
dream.
just died today, and definitely my guiding light in film and art, and that he's a magician. You know, we're trying to be magicians. We're trying. Each video is a spell. You know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Each song, each work of art, if you put that intention into it. And I definitely believe
wild,
that.
Man. No, that's fucking wild. The dream, because if you just hit him up and you didn't have that to present to him.
Yeah,
it might have just been like, I love you and I'm talented, you know. But when
he's like, okay,
this message that you're like,
it definitely must have gotten someone's attention because I got an interview, I got the gig, like I brought art to give to Bjork. I was like, can you give us Bjork? like I was totally fanboying and like, and then that was my first fucking like real. And then I worked for Jeffrey Deitch. I managed a gallery for him. I did all this crazy art shit after that. And I watched the fucking bubble burst in 2008 and like became an art handler full time. And like, that was my world. So I was like making art still a little bit, but I was mainly just like doing drugs and like going to openings and like helping other artists, working for other artists. And I just kind of lost sight of what I was doing. And I was working for Swoon. Like I was working for Deitch Projects, and Swoon was their artist at the time. And I kind of ran away with the circus there. I like kind of like befriended her and all her fucking freaky ass friends. And then like, and she was like, oh yeah, what do you do? And I was like, fuck, I haven't done anything in years. Like I don't do anything anymore. So I had this like existential moment. I quit my job. It is DMT related. like it's just like had a kind of a flip out psycho mode. And then like I started making my own art at home while working as an art handler by day. And then like I was making all this is a long ass story. I was making all this shit. I had like a rule for a year. I could only make art out of stuff I found in Chinatown. I couldn't go to art supply stores. I just had to make weird shit out of stuff I could get in Chinatown. And I started making all these like crystal eye patches and stuff. I was a fan of Geneva Jacuzzi's, and I contacted her. She was dating Ariel Pink at the time. And I contacted her. I was like, hey, you want one of these fucking eye patches? Like, you're fucking rad. And she was like, I love it. I'll put it in my next video. And I was like, what's your next video about? And she was like, well, I want to do something about like Oscar Wilde's Salome. And I was like, that was my shit. Like that had been my shit for years. And I was like, that's my fucking shit. And she was like, you should direct it. And I was like, all right. Yeah. Okay, I will. Yeah. I like scrounged up the money to fly to LA and like had the most insane week of my fucking life. Like I smoked meth for the first time. It was crazy. like Jesus had a Christ. Wild time.
Did you enjoy meth? I don't even want to talk.
Yeah. No, I hated it. It was terrible.
I don't like amphetamines of any kind, but yeah.
I have the Adderall is a necessary evil for the work I do. I definitely stay pretty low key with it. Yeah. But
this is so it's like you did have a visual art practice like in your 20s coming into New York, and then you kind of got this, and then through magic and luck and charisma and talent all kind of coming together, you grabbed this internship with Matthew Barney, and then you kind of like got really hooked up in that scene wise, but you kind of slacked a little on.
I stopped making my own work. Yeah. I became a cog in a machine, and I was making art for other people. You know,
this can be okay though. This is the thing though. I mean, it's like if you don't lose your way forever, you know. Yeah, it's like that could be building up some shit. You know what I mean? Not just career wise, but.
Yeah, who knows what it all might add up one day and make sense. But at the time, it was a way for me to see what the art world was like, see how it actually functioned, and see that I had no fucking chance. Like that it was this like pay to play, very sort of like unless you're an incredibly exploitable person with no access. There's the perfect mark, like Basquiat style. You basically have to be some famous person or rich person's kid to have access to any of that. It's true for so many mediums, but I was very just sort of disenchanted with that, and already kind of looking for an out, I guess. And yeah, just sort of, I went to LA, I filmed this video for Geneva. It was the most fun I had ever had making something. All of a sudden I found a medium that combined all of it. Cause just like I am with video, I was like it with visual art. I was making, I couldn't stick to one thing. I was always making, I was drawing, I was doing printmaking, I was sculpting, I was doing installations. Like I was fucking completely autistic about it. Like I couldn't stay in one fucking place. Not autistic, I'm sorry, ADD about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like filmmaking just presented itself as like this place where all of those things could come together and all of those things could be of use in different situations. And I'm fucking stuck here, you know?
being stuck somewhere is good. That means you're in something, you know? But that's interesting though. You thought you couldn't make it, or you felt like disenchanted. You're like, you were like up in the guts of the art world, you know, working for Matthew Barney and stuff.
Yeah, and I had a lot of friends who were known artists who were getting success.
But you felt, but you said you weren't even really making that much work then, right? So I mean, like I don't know.
I wasn't. Yeah,
you know, so
I was.
Yeah,
I was definitely. I was an art assistant. I was making art for other people. I was art handling, so I was just delivering art for very rich people. You know, like
But maybe it's. I mean, you probably could have gotten big if you know, but you just weren't inspired to do.
Maybe. I mean, if you. I mean, I like to think that if you stick around long enough in any realm, then eventually that's what I'm fucking hoping with this shit.
Yeah.
But you know, but it doesn't happen to everybody, and I'm absolutely. Yeah, so I think with that, it was just like I just also didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was in no way stuck to. I didn't have an aesthetic or a thing that you could be like, that's that person's thing, you know? Yeah. Which I still don't know if I have. Like, I still don't know with all the different art. I've worked with pop artists, I've worked with rappers, I've worked with like so many different types. I haven't done country yet, but I'm about to. That's going to be sick. Someone very influential in the heavy world is going to release a country album, and I will be doing their video for it. And it is someone that is one of my absolute all-time favorites.
Okay, it's a country. Okay, it's not. Is it Woven Hand?
No. This guy has been around since the 90s, and very influential. Bands like Converge and Portrayal of Guilt are very influenced by him. He is a fucking goat. And and basically
I bet I know who this is.
Yeah. He's doing shares his name with a wrestler. There you go.
Maybe I don't. But yeah.
Anyone in the comments, if you guess it, you get a free bottle of wine. But so I'll be shooting that in July, I think.
Right on. So yeah, like and so then at that point, like I'm interested also just if we're talking about like industry vibes, right? So it's like, so you've got like so you make a video for Geneva Jacuzzi, right? And then that's like, then your name gets in the mix a little bit among like underground musicians.
I think it's why Hunter said yes, finally.
Right. Okay, right. Okay, but so at that point you're hitting up peers and friends whose work you're in.
Yeah. I saw Chelsea Wolf's name in a blog. No one knew who she was yet. This was also 2011, and like I contacted her cold on like fucking Facebook or something.
Yeah.
Like I was able to. Yeah, it was a leapfrog situation where if you do one thing, and then it proves you're legit, and you can do the next thing. You know.
Yeah. So like, I'm interested in this right now. So like, I mean, I don't keep up with music videos in the way that I obviously did when I was a child. We're of that generation.
Me neither.
We're of that generation of MTV, right? And it's like, I'll hear people say stuff like, Nobody cares about a music video. Why the fuck would you do a music video? But then I see people doing these huge, big budget music videos. I hear about you doing these things and getting paid. So I'm like, what? Is it over or not? Like, it seems like it's still
not,
going. Right?
It's not over. It is still like everyone knows what wet ass pussy is. Everyone knows what This Is America is. Like, like there are videos, like maybe one a year that reverberate throughout the entire culture. And that it still has that power because at the end of the day, it's a synthesis of two very fucking cool things, like video and music, and like you can't fucking lose. And so I think what's happened is that the fucking industry has shrunk down so much, so dramatically. You know, starting with fucking, you know, we go back to like 9/11 era, we go back to Napster, and like, you know, like just like, you know, the Capitol Records building in LA is empty. Like they lease out the floors to different companies. Like these used to be companies with the record labels used to have like 300, 600 people on staff. And now there's like 6 to 10 people working for some of the biggest labels. Like it's pretty fucking terrifying. It's why AI is a threat, because just like that happened before, it's waves. It keeps happening. You know, everything keeps shrinking down. But so that was the first big drop, and then things are kind of leveling out a bit with things like Spotify and Apple. Like they've clearly, I don't think we all used to fuck around a little bit with like, you know, like what was it called, Mediafire, and like ripping shit, you know, like just like didn't have the money, so you just rip like tons of fucking music. And they've cracked down on that pretty good. So now they're starting to have some significant returns again. But because we live in a capitalist society, like they're not like, oh, this is great, we're making money again, we can rehire all those people. They're like, oh, wait, we're making money comparable to what we used to make. But everyone already assumes that we're small and we're fucked. So we don't have to rehire. Like we could just keep this a 10 people fucking crew and rake in all this shit and just like kind of keep quiet about it. And like, oh, what's this? Everyone uses a digital camera. Like every 20-something person will say yes to do a music video for nothing because they just want to be a part of it. Let's also keep those rates low too. So like I'm in like the worst possible fucking film industry of all of them. And I'm doing it out of like the hopes that I will move on. But like I'm fucking 40, dude. You know, like it's definitely so that's a quick little.
Okay,
if we want to dive in a little, we can. But
so it's like the amount of money that one can expect to make from making music videos is definitely going down. But but like as far as cultural relevance, there still is this like one a year kind of firework. Where and if you're a fan of a band, you're going to see their videos, right? I assume that's still a thing. I get views. I have lots of views on stuff. So I assume it's still a thing people watch. They might watch 30 seconds of it, you know? But it's interesting. MTV, such a different, like, that's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Does it get new people into it? That's what I wonder. I mean, are there new people who get into Mizmore because of that video, or is it just their fans, you know?
Really good fucking point. That's exactly why MTV was so important.
Yeah.
That's how I learned about everything when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I could tell what music I liked, but I didn't know where to find it. You know, I was a child. I wasn't going to shows yet. I wasn't able to go to shows. Like MTV provide. So at the same time, I guess like, you know, I guess I'm sure fucking younger people who might be listening to this, like MySpace definitely did that. MySpace, like you'd look at the band you liked and they'd have like a top 8, you know, and then you like, you kind of surf around.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, now what is it now? I don't know what it is now. I feel like there's like Spotify playlists.
It's that Spotify people make. Playlists. That's what people hear. That's what people hear about shit. Yeah. But I mean, so the videos, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't hurt to find out, you know, for a band to have videos that people find out about them, but it's absolutely a completely different landscape. And I think that something like MTV and in the social media sphere could exist that could become fucking awesome. Because I mean, you look at TikTok, like that's all, so much of that is music driven. There's so much going on with music on TikTok, you know? Yeah. Like, is there like a YouTube? I mean, people have YouTube channels of their own, but it's like, I mean, isn't there just like an MTV, like music
nothing seemed to pop off. Yeah. Nothing seemed to pop off in that way. I think there's even I think Headbangers still exists in some entity on social media from MTV. But I just learned. I just found out about that. I should know about that. Like I didn't know for years that they still exist.
If you didn't know about Headbangers Ball still existing, then it probably is not relevant.
It's not really a fucking thing. So So yeah. And if they're not playing my videos, then what the fuck is the point? You know?
Yeah, what are they playing? No, for real.
Like, are there any other metal videos? But yeah, no, there are. Okay. But yeah.
I mean,
so
that's sorry.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
No, I mean, I was gonna say, like, also this is another thing, right? So it's like, okay, so the role of videos now in the music world, so people like, right? So there's like that one a year or two a year, whatever it is that matter. Like, do people still make? I'm sure they do, but it's like back in the day, every band would have a video. Maybe it didn't get played, but you know, it's like. And most videos weren't like this artistic conceptual statement. Like some would be, but a lot would just be like some stuff with the band rocking out and some random dark shit and like a hot girl, like whatever we do.
Yeah.
Do this thing. It's like, do people even do that much anymore? Like, do people phone in videos, or is it like only real art shit like what you're doing?
I don't know.
I mean, like, because I feel like I only see cool videos. Like I rarely see music videos, and when I do, they're like interesting. You know what I mean?
And that's usually because they've been brought to your attention because they got far enough to get spread around more. And that's all algorithm shit too. Like Instagram and Facebook are deciding what is popular. We're gonna push it a little more. But I feel like in metal, I feel like there's a lot of people just like some band footage with some like. You know, found footage of maggots over it or something. Like, I think that's still a vibe for sure. I think rappers, I mean, I got love for that. I think rappers like make tons of like a lot of rappers, if they're starting, they tend to make their own stuff, or maybe they have a friend that does it. But like, I feel like there's a lot of amateur rap videos out there that are the person performing with some kind of scenario. Like, I think that everyone is making content. And they can because they can. Yeah. So that could be the new form of what you're describing, where it's like there's just like the person performing with some other element that they didn't have to pay for.
Right.
But yeah, but I think most people making content exclusively, like me, like that's what they're doing. We're all trying to like get noticed and get like to the next tier. We're all raised on MTV. And so, like, I had the fucking DVDs of like Chris Cunningham and Michelle Gondry and Spike Jones, and like, I was like, oh yeah, that's what you do. You make music videos, and then you immediately get picked up and get sent into fucking like commercial world, and you get to make films, which is all I want to do. And the problem is that like there were thousands of me who felt that way, and now we're all competing with each other, trying to be that person, So everyone's making like every video they make is like. This is the fucking video. Like, this is a fucking short film in itself. All that, I put everything I had into it, and it's just, it's great in that it's an oversaturation of content that is probably worth looking at. It's insane and terrifying in a hellscape because I'm 40 and I'm still, scrapping two sticks together to make a fire. Like, it's definitely up and down at the same time. Because I don't regret anything I've done. I love all the work I've made.
No doubt.
But I definitely, how sustainable is this as a medium, as a career? It's the music industry isn't exactly an industry anymore. It's shrunk so much. So it's definitely something I could talk at length for, and would probably be more boring than some of the other stuff we could talk about. But if you're curious, I'd be happy to answer your questions there.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's boring or not, man, because you know what I mean? People have these different
I think for me it's like I'm always bitching about it to other people who do it, and so like I assume it's boring because for me it's like an ad nauseum kind of thing.
Well, when people, I mean musicians, right? You like make your record and there's way less money in that record sales than there used to be, obviously. And so you're basically hoping that you get picked up. Your song is in a video game or a movie or a commercial, right? Shit like that. That's kind of what you're hoping for. When you're making a music video, it's not going to be used for anything, right? I mean, it's like you get paid to make it. So you're getting a flat rate it doesn't have to go well. I mean, you just get paid, right? I mean, it's like just not performing.
And they're kind of used to it not going well because what they're paying you, it shouldn't go well.
right.
You know, by all laws of physics, it should not go well most of the time.
But so you're but so you're not really like hoping. I mean, at least you know what you're doing. I mean, as far as you know what you're getting, you're not like hoping that the video is going to quote unquote do well. I mean, people and people don't blame you for their record not selling, right? I mean, the point, right.
Well, that's what's funny. I take credit when it goes well, and I back away into the darkness when it doesn't.
When it doesn't.
Because you know, I've got videos with like 100, like I've got 2 videos that each have over 100 million views. Like, you never know. And I did not think one of them was going to do anything like that. You can never really. I've really learned not to predict. Like, if I'm usually pretty excited by the end of a project. I've been staring at it forever. I'm like, you have to fall in love with it so much to make it good, to put that effort into it.
Yeah.
And so by the end of each project, I used to, when I started, I was like, oh man, this is going to be the one, man. This is going to fucking be it. When I release this shit, man, it's going to, and then like nothing happens. You know, and it's just like, and that happened a couple times, and that happened more times. And like, and then things I would not expect to pop off fucking pop the fuck off. And like, I've learned to I make it because I want it to be good, and I can walk away from it. And there's like a good thing I did. That's kind of how
doing this for fucking the man upstairs, man.
No, downstairs, bro.
Downstairs, nah, man.
Wrong genre.
I don't know, man. We don't have to, you know.
Do as above, so below. Then, in that case,
good way to tie.
Good save.
Good save.
Little Kenneth Anger, Crowley, and sort of save there. Yeah. Lucifer is the god of light, after all.
True. Very true.
Yeah. But one thing I definitely want to, not that I don't know what's going on, but I want to make sure we circle back to something I included in that little batch of stuff.
No, let's circle.
Next project.
All right.
And I can't say who it's for. It is definitely something no one's ever heard of. But so like we just did a bunch of AI stuff, right? I was like deep in like tech and like all this crazy shit that I didn't know anything about. Someone came to me out of nowhere and had been a fan of mine since Portal, which is a video, the band Portal. I did a video for them in 2013, and it's kind of the thing. Still, people still come to me and reference this. It doesn't have a lot of views, but it's like, it's the thing. It's kind of been my calling card for years as far as the metal community is considered. It's like, I went all out. I made all this practical shit by myself, all this puppeteering shit, all these creatures and like sets and miniatures. And someone came to me and was like, hey, let's do that again. And I have money. And I think it's safe to show a little bit of just the raw footage from that shoot.
So we won't say who the artist is, but will.
If I did, you wouldn't even. This will be their coming out party. They don't even exist yet, technically.
Cool. Okay. Portal video. Anyone who has not seen the Portal video that Zev, it's Curtains, right? Or Curtain is the name of the song. Yeah. I mean it's a pretty major. But see, that's another example of that unexpected shit. Because I was a big Portal fan already, and then I saw that, and I'm like, I would never think that's what Portal would sound like. But then the second I'm seeing it, it's like, yep, this makes total sense. You know, it's like really adding in the conversation here. Are you? Oh, I should add this here. So, we got this going on.
So that's that. So it's not that. It is in the folder I gave you.
Oh, word. Okay. You want me to do?
It is
A and B all together, or no?
No, not that.
Practical sneak peek.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
All
so
right,
this is just no sound. This is just like raw footage with a little color correct, and it's gonna give you a little tiny taste. It's about a minute something.
Okay, let's bring this in here. What do we got here? We got Windows.
And someone commented earlier. Mark Snyder and Ellie Taylor are these two incredible artists in Portland, and we spent about remotely. They were building all this shit. Like we spent a lot of time preparing this stuff, and they were just like blood, sweat, and tears building all this stuff for about a month and a half before we shot.
Sick.
And this is just a little tiny bit of it. This is just a little bit of it. Yeah. But like you can see here, I mean, yeah, I got a new nickname while I was on set for this, Ridley Snot.
Nice.
That's what they call me. Yeah.
I was going to say Eraserhead right off the bat. I'm like,
yeah. The playback might be a little funky, but because it's probably a large file. But oh yeah, it seems to be playing a little slower. That's fine. But total fucking creature, Giger realm, kind of like horrific sort of shit. There's a lot of planetary stuff going on. Oh yeah, it's playing back a little disjointed, but that's okay. Maybe better that I'm not completely giving away the shit. Yeah, this is insane.
And this is all the practical effects you've got.
That's all. This is all in camera. This is nothing has been done treated to the camera at all. This is just
you just built this like an electric train set or something. You just
Oh, I didn't. This one was built by people who are far more talented than I am.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
You did mock-ups.
I was I was barking orders and making shitty sketches and
all right.
Yeah. Definitely just a little taste of what I feel like is like safe to show.
This is more creatures. Gross. Yeah, goo. You got some ooze.
You got some ooze there. You got to have the ooze, Charlie.
Ooze is important, man.
Ooze is very important. Yeah, it's going to play back a little. I'm almost relieved it's not playing back smoothly because the full effect when it hits, when it's all put together, is going to be something else. But this is just a nice little cum shot here. But we had a lot of fun with a lot of weird shit. And
okay, great.
And
this is an artist that's like not even known.
They don't exist yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This will be their coming out party.
Yeah.
Of sorts.
Yeah. All right. Looking forward to that for sure. The practical effects, man. I mean, people, it still looks different, man. From I mean, it still really satisfies something that like computer stuff just cannot.
This is my number one like thing. This is I worked with the Giger estate, restoring films and stuff. Like, I can't think of a more intense and impressive and immersive horror movie than Alien. Like, I can't like the way I think it's the human condition when you see something that was made by hand, and the magic that was put into it. I think it's incomparable.
Did you read Fangoria magazine when you were growing up?
I had a brisk. Yeah, I was aware of it. I got into that stuff later, I think, with like these older monster magazines that like, it was so funny. Like I worked for Danny Elfman. I did a video for him a couple years ago, and I went to his, we shot some of the stuff in his studio, and he has, all this wild shit on display. He's got like the original Howdy Doody puppets on display, and like he's got all of these original monster magazine, which were exactly that. They were basically before Fangoria. They were the thing. They were the Universal Monsters era, like 40s and 50s magazine about the movies, and that seeing all that shit, I was like, I gotta get that shit's fire. I gotta start looking into that.
Yeah.
Because that's an era of, especially stuff like Portal. Like, I'm referencing that kind of shit constantly. I think that's my favorite move. My two, like, I have my movies I consider the best movies ever made, and then I have like my favorite movies that is like if I'm depressed, if I like want to fuck off, and like if I'm feeling horrible and I need to like eat pizza and watch something that's just going to immediately saturate me in dopamine, it's fucking the original Dracula, and then it's fucking Bram Stoker's Dracula, the goofy one with fucking Keanu Reeves. Like,
really, that one I never saw. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder are like incredible.
Is that actually good though? It's actually good. Like,
it's the best. It's my favorite. It is so silly in so many instances.
It was so big for our
can't fucking act at all. He's the worst actor, but and that's very negligible because Coppola the whole movie is an homage to, and this is going to resonate with some of the stuff you've seen me do. The whole movie is an homage to the original like horror movies, like the beginning of filmmaking.
Right.
It's so much of it's all this is before CGI. It's you're constantly seeing in camera effects that were innovated by the Méliès brothers, like fucking not the Méliès brothers. I'm starting to get drunk. George Méliès, and just like all the Universal horror movies and like just like even silent era stuff. It's just like it's a big love letter to that era of filmmaking. And it is so campy and fun, but also some of the most elegant costume work and set work and atmosphere. The soundtrack as a Polish composer who also did another movie I've loved, Ninth Gate, which is such a fun Polanski movie. It's got all of the fun shit I love in one place.
Who's the Polish composer you're talking about?
I would love to pretend that I'm gonna fucking Google it. No, he's the shit, dude. We should.
We're talking about a contemporary guy or no?
He's alive, I think. Yeah. Ninth Gate. I for a time I knew his name, but yeah. Wojciech Kilar.
Okay.
That's phenomenal. The Bram Stoker Dracula soundtrack and the Ninth Gate soundtracks fucking slap.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, man. So you often have, when you make a video, you're often like have maybe it's not always an homage, but there's some kind of like reference point in the history of cinema, right? I mean, you've got Giger on some of these things. You're thinking about Barry Lyndon on this other video.
When you're ripping people off, if you say dedicated to at the end, it's like this great, it just sort of absolves you, you know?
Oh yeah, no, it's fine.
Having done it.
No, I mean, there's plenty of songs or things where I'm like, I'm going to rip off XYZ. And then like, you know, just even the second you even get started, it's already not a ripoff. It's already original. I have no problem just going forward, just being like, I'm thinking of this, like, just, you know.
Yeah, but dude, like
not everyone does that.
Was it? I don't know if it was Picasso or whoever the fuck it was. And I've updated this quote. I've added a third sentence, but you know, okay. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. Bad artists plagiarize.
Okay,
that's my addition. But I try to steal all the time. In hopes of being a great artist. I'm a fucking little Jewish thief.
Good, man. Good. But you've been like, but I don't know though, man, because it's like now you're talking like you're like really a film director. Like you're like on some like I'm referencing film. I mean, when you were just a straight visual artist and you were about to like work with Matthew Barney, I mean, were you even like as into film as like visual art, or were you already just like I want to do?
I was already. I didn't know I wanted to do it. I didn't know that it was something I could do. I think that I think Matthew Barney. One of the reasons I was so drawn to him was because he was basically making films. I mean, he would make sculpture and he would do performances, and he would do drawings and all that shit. Another reason I resonate with him so much, but film was his ultimate medium. You know, it's what we all know his work to. That's how so many people can experience it without being able to go to a gallery or whatever. Film was always the thing for me. There were artists I absolutely was obsessed with. I was obsessed with Aubrey Beardsley when I was drawing a lot. I did a lot of Beardsley-esque kind of drawings. I was obsessed with Warhol, and I started to do performance stuff. Just not that he was known for performances, but his attitude towards absurdism and sort of like knowing sort of the tongue-in-cheek art is bullshit. Fuck you. Here's some garbage.
That seems different. Yeah. That seems different than what I would expect you to be into. You know, that seems off.
I love Warhol. I absolutely love Warhol. And then like, you know, Barney came along and was like, I'm like, someone's bringing fucking metal into the fine art world. Like, what's up with this guy?
Really, I mean, that was really pretty major, man. That was really pretty major.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, fucking Murphy's Law in the fucking Guggenheim.
Yeah, I know.
Like playing, you know. Yeah. And he fucking Dave Lombardo is in Cremaster 2 with Norman Mailer.
No, he really made it. You know,
Chris Barnes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. So, you know, like
See, I remember that's the thing. It's like I was rocking Morbid Angel and Napalm Death t-shirts when it was a liability with women and girls, when you weren't getting rewarded culturally. You were you had friends. Yeah. You had friends in spite of your
first wave feminists who knew enough about Mailer to know that was a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I think film was always more important to me than art, and music was always at odds with film with me, where they were both equally important to me. I was in a bunch of hardcore and metal bands as a kid, and like I was involved in shit. I was a fucking little dork. Like I was on fucking Relapse's street team. Like I would volunteer to like go help
posters for fucking
yeah. I did it very, you know, I'd like smoke. I would smoke out all the Relapse bands, and they come through town. I'm from fucking Norfolk, Virginia.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about where you're from. Okay, Norfolk. Yeah, I mean, I knew you were from Virginia, but
Virginia Beach, that whole zone. So like Jesuit, which was like early Converge, and like you know, we had like a scene, and I was playing in little bands that were a part of that scene. But yeah, like. It was, so those two things had always been the driving force for me, and it makes very much sense that I do this. But yes, I really, really want to make films. That is my long-term goal. And I'm getting old, so I'm starting to get nervous.
Is that I mean, is that like some shit where you'd be like, you would just like self-fund a thing and make a film and put it around, or you would like try to go?
Well, it really depends. I mean, they're making so much dog shit. Like there's so many streaming services that are making content. Like there's so much stuff being made now. But I think that the kind of shit I want to make, and I think that like, I think my current plan is to, and this is like antithetical to everything in my soul, but like I think that commercial work, because I'm already essentially with music videos making advertisements, if you think about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
no. That's exactly
that's what they are for. I think getting into commercial work is the next step in terms of being able to finance my own projects.
Yeah, that's actually.
I think if I can, if I can at least make a proof of like man, I'm at a loss for words. This is very good wine, but a proof of concept, basically. To at least show what I would make, you know, and then you know, I've come across some people who've been interested, so I think that getting that first step is going to require some funding, and I don't want to have anyone else telling me what to do.
Dude, you'll be able to pull that shit off. Isn't like what, like fucking what's that, A24? Is that some shit like that?
yeah. They're that's the thing. I'm like, I gotta hurry up and make a movie to see if I'm better than that, because they keep making stuff that, and this will maybe polarize to people, but in my opinion, I'm seeing a lot of stuff that they're doing that is very like, we've locked into it's almost like AI making art films. It's like, what are the touchstones of what people associate with like a high art film? Right. We're going to throw those things in a blender and see what sticks. And so like, that's a generalization. They've made some great fucking films that I love. But absolutely like feel like they're kind of the standard to beat now. And a lot of what I see them doing feels very like the best moments of a lot of that stuff are just complete rips from good films that I love from the 60s, from the 70s, from the 80s, whatever. It's and that could also be professional jealousy playing into it, of just like, I'm seeing some like Ari Aster or Robert Eggers. Rachel always is like, don't bring up those directors because everyone loves them and they're not going to like your take on it, because like, they're just going to see that. And this is very true. Like, I'm jealous because they are making work in the realm, in the subject matter that I want to deal in.
Professional jealousy can be sick though, man. I think I mean, when harnessed, like when you're not, when it's
I think they're fucking hacks, basically. And I know that like that's probably not true, but it's how I feel when I see their work, because they're dealing with a language and a subject matter, generally speaking, that I'm very fluent in, that I've been wanting to do for years and years. And so when you see someone else get to do it at a scale they get to do it at, it's like, fuck, like someone did it. Someone got there first. Respect, but I don't. When I watch those movies, they feel hollow to me. There's because when I see something good, I flip out and get super excited about it. Like I'm not hating them because they're doing what I want to do. I'm hating them because I feel like they're doing it wrong, and that's just me.
Who's like super sick now, like film wise or music video director wise? That's also interesting. Other music video director. Anna
Hima is a music video director I fucking think is a total badass. Mike Diva was such a good music video director that he only stayed in music videos for a couple of years. He's now directing all the skits for SNL. He ended up ripping off another director I love, Andrew Thomas Hwang, who did the FKA Twigs video where she pole dances.
Oh yeah,
in the sky in heaven.
Yes.
So then Mike Diva was hired by Lil Nas to do a video right after that where he basically does the exact same thing. And it was a whole controversy. But he's fucking sick as fuck too. And now he's moved so fast that he's now like directing all the skits and SNL and stuff. Right. There's some fire fucking directors out there. As far as film, Yorgos Lanthimos, who did like he did Dogtooth was his first film, but he's since done like Killing of a Sacred Deer, Favorite with Olivia Colman. Phenomenal director. He's got a weird one coming out soon that's like a sci-fi. I love Jonathan Glazer's Under the Skin, which was an A24 movie.
Yeah, I was talking about that with someone. I can't remember. Maybe Jeremiah. We're talking about yeah.
It's so good. It's very Kubrickian. It's like there's almost no dialogue. It's very like omnipotent feeling. There's something very cold about it, but it's done so well. And then the director of fucking Moonlight, like that was one of the best movies I've seen in the modern era. And that was I
never saw that. Is that sick?
That movie is fucking sick. That movie is so fucked up and like deep and gorgeous. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's like nothing aesthetically like I would ever do, but it is so fucking good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, big fan of Marvel's Eternals, you know.
Are you? No. Are you serious?
No, I really actually have a lot of hate for this for Chloe Zhao, who directed Nomadland. I thought that was the biggest piece of trash and it won Best Picture. But she's the daughter of like the biggest steel magnate in China. And she did Nomadland, which was basically like poverty porn.
Yeah.
Except the main character, Frances McDormand, like never has to face reality. Like at every turn of her story, like her sister can help her out and just gives her an envelope full of cash, offers her a home to stay in. Like her like brief love interest offers her a home to stay in. Like she's just choosing to be poor. Like completely deranged.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah. I mean, if it tells you anything, they were allowed to film in an Amazon factory. Like, so right. What how did that happen? Yeah. Why were they allowed to do it? Why did Amazon not have any notes for them once the film was finished? But I could go on.
Well, dude, that'll be sick to see what you do at a full-length film-wise. And see, then you're going to be finding people to do music for your movie, which will be different. That's like the opposite.
There you go, Charlie.
That's the opposite. Hey,
I would love to.
You got a lot of folks to choose from, man. But
I do, and I love you all.
If you want that classical, dude, I'm saying, if you want that pinkies out, you want that pinkies out.
So can I throw something at you? This involves someone who's been on the chat.
All right.
Who were the AI person? But have you ever considered playing a Ren fair?
I mean,
like what if you did it like really? but seriously, like you did
I would only do it seriously. I mean,
because your work is so good. It's like like this isn't a troll. This is a fucking serious like taking that degree of class to like a campy situation like that.
I would,
but really, like you're using a lot of that instrumentation.
Would I play a Ren Fair though? The thing is, though,
it's not meant to diminish anything because obviously I'm a fan of yours. I keep working for you.
No, but you know why I wouldn't though? You know why I wouldn't? I think is because I would only want to do it sincerely, and I don't have any relationship with Ren Fairs.
Right. It's not your thing,
positive or negative. Like I never was like.
Well, I know two people who would be very willing to show you around.
Well, but maybe I could be converted though, maybe because I've never been to one. You know, maybe
I hear it's a very welcoming scene, and
I'm sure it's very nice. I mean,
nothing but good things about it. But that wasn't meant to be a troll.
No,
I think it would be pretty fucking cool.
No, okay.
What about this? What about the cloisters?
Well, definitely, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, guess what? Guess what? See, I've tricked you because Ren Fairs, if they're done well, it's kind of like you're spending a day in the cloisters. Like if the cloisters were, had activities.
The cloisters do have music there,
and like a lot of horny people too. Like there's benefits.
But they're like fives and shit. Like I mean, it's like
that's an assumption, Charlie. That's an assumption.
Maybe not.
Times have changed.
Just straight wenches.
Or maybe I've become a 5 and now like everything, it's just like
right. No, we're just on some like we're like, damn, Ren Fair is this fucking
Yeah, I think it's actually not that bad here.
Right.
No, I think I guarantee there's some people who in your circle that go. I know for a fact there's people in your circle that go to Ren Fairs.
Oh, definitely
every year.
No, definitely. No,
it's a vibe. It's a vibe. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, the thing is, I didn't think that Ren Fairs. My impression, I didn't know that it was for people who actually knew or cared about the Renaissance or Middle Ages. I thought it was just theater kids. Want to fucking
that's
do
like all it is.
Shit.
That's like all it is.
But do they have
like the biggest nerds in that? Well, it's mixed. It's a mixed bag.
But they don't have music. But but they don't have. Like,
that's what I mean. They need music, Charlie.
But that's the thing, dude. It's not a serious.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, they don't have like the Tallis scholars going to some fucking shithole in Jersey to fucking play for a bunch of fucking acne fucking out
to throw down for a bunch of enthusiasts.
Well, I'll throw down for any enthusiast and shit. But if I'm gonna walk into a place and try to like steal the show and stuff, it's like whatever. Look,
we can breach that subject at another time.
Hey, I always say this: I go where my money's green. If the Ren Fairs want,
they will.
Looker, I mean, I'm there. I mean, 7 Tiers would have been. Have you heard 7 Tiers? My project, 7 Tiers, because that's the one.
Is that the one? That's
the one with the medieval instruments. That's like fully medievaled out.
That shit is dope, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah,
maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe so. I don't know. Yeah.
Down the line.
Yeah.
It will be well received, I can tell you that. But I understand. There's the cloisters first, but if the cloisters don't call,
the cloisters actually 7 Tiers had a possible someone who was booking stuff at the cloisters was talking to.
Oh, dude, you should really
Russell,
push for that.
About no, he was pushing. It was his contact. He was pushing, and it didn't.
It would be so sick.
It didn't come together.
It would be so sick.
Yeah, there's time. There's plenty of time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. Well, so how are you? I mean, I think we did some past, we did some present, and there's a little bit of future. What else? What else is on your mind, man? You got anything? You got anything to like? I mean, you plugged all you can plug as far as stuff that you can't drop the
really
names,
plug.
But,
I mean, I got a bunch of. I mean, one of the fun things that I've never brought up before, but I felt moved to bring up with you, and so I asked you about it before we did this. Was like, I've never talked about stuff that I did that didn't get released. And I don't know what the legality of any of that is, but I'm so desperate to do it because like it's like some of my favorite.
Do you want to throw some up on the screen? I mean, you want to throw up a little bit of
I think that would put me in jail, and obviously it wouldn't. But I think that's something I was thinking of talking about. I'm not really sure how to navigate around because like I mean, that's, you know, I feel like if this ever, but I really want to do it. But I think that I don't know how I would without just showing the thing, and showing the thing could be something I'm not supposed to do. So I don't really know how that works.
Okay, so you can't really, yeah. All
I
right.
just totally just cock teased, but fuck. I mean, you know, like as far as like shit, yeah. Now that I've said it, it's just sitting there.
throw it on the screen, man. Let's see your unreleased shit, man. Come on, let's.
All right, listen. This is what if I did it. How can I do it without revealing who it is? A lot of it, you can see it. It wouldn't mean anything.
I'm about to share the screen. I'm about to add the shit to the stream. What do you think of that?
I don't have it pulled up yet.
That's still this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm very wary about this, but at the same time, I really want to, because it's like, God, dude. Yeah. Even searching it is going to get me in trouble, I think.
Yeah. All right. Should we call it? Should we not do it?
I really don't know how that even works. Like if they would even care, or if it would matter, or if it would matter very much.
Well, I respect your professional ethics, man. I mean, that's
I don't have them really. The fact that I'm even talking about it is and teasing it because I want to show it is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like my favorite musician of all time, I got to do something for them, and I was like 12. I'm 40 now, and they were like the thing on MTV.
Are we talking about like pine cinch, grails, like this kind of, like, or are we
that kind of stuff?
That general kind of area?
Yes. We are talking about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
In fact, that exact thing. But yeah, like I got to do something with them, and it was like bottom of the ninth. I'm like every video I work on that's like really like effects intensive or edit intensive, like I'll have these like last couple of days where I'm just like not sleeping, and I'm like just in it, and it's just all I'm thinking about, and I'm in the zone, and I'm like sort of becoming deranged and kind of like sinking into just a entirely different mental state that usually allows for like particularly strange things to happen and like strange decisions to be made. And I would always listen to them at my home stretch. I'd be like tired and fucked up, and I'd be like, I need some gas. I need some fucking gas in my tank.
You need a spiral. You need the upward spiral to really.
And and so there I was like listening to them while I was working on them, and it was like the craziest feeling. I was just like, holy shit, like, yeah. And then I got I sent it in, and I got a 2-word email, too political. Gone, done,
dude,
nothing.
Man, man, this is hard for me to hear, man. You're not that political a guy. I am, but I don't. I'll tell you this, I am, but I don't advertise it. I mean, I definitely overpost sometimes, but no one's paying attention. I mean, I've like, you know, like I've had like, I've like gotten, my designs were picked up by like Bernie's campaign, and like I was paid for him to make, like, I'm definitely politically involved to some degree, but I wasn't going political with what I was doing for this. It was topical. I wasn't choosing a side. It was very was it just like a video? It was like a CG, like a AI of like white people like apologizing for slavery and shit. It's like,
that's my next video, and fuck you for fucking calling me out. That's what I'm doing for Oxbow. No, this was
I'll apologize.
This was like conspiracy stuff. This was like, which is my favorite subject, but like and even before the right took it over, I was already very deep into conspiracy stuff, and like it was like better better plots than a lot of the fiction that I would read, and like this, like some of the stuff that was coming out of like the deep conspiracy world, some of the books that were being written, and then like all the weird fucking like HTML era like websites that you could go to dive into that shit. So with this, I was like, I wanted to do something where you're watching a browser and you're watching this person dive into a conspiracy and then make a decision after getting inundated with this stuff to do something violent about it. Just so it's this misinformation, and then they go and like you see like on the browser they're just like renting a U-Haul and buying a bunch of fucking clips and fucking guns and like tactical gear and shit. It was pretty sick. and he had and this mysterious artist I was working for had just finished to won an Oscar for composing a mysterious movie for children, and probably didn't want any association to that kind of vibe at the time of their Oscar win for a children's movie. So I could understand the decision to pull it.
Okay. Yeah. That's a shame though, that's a shame.
It was fire.
That it didn't get used, not because it wasn't good enough, but because it just wasn't in the direction. Like you could.
Maybe he thought it was trash, and it was like, "What's the nicest thing I could say?" It's too hot for TV.
Right.
But like, I mean, and they and the way it sound like the song, like he hadn't sounded like that since back then. Like it was like this is like that era shit. So I was so fucking amped. Yeah, that was an intense, weird day.
Hey, even being in the mix is exciting, right? I mean, even being on the fucking,
Yeah, the fact that it happened at all was crazy.
Well, yeah, you should find out if you can legally like somehow do something with that. I don't know.
I could probably. I don't know if I could use the footage for something else, but I'd probably have to repurpose it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a cool idea. Like it worked in that context. I don't know if I'd want to put it anywhere else. I kind of like having it be this little thing. I can, if you're over right now, I could show it to you. Like I could send you a link. No problem.
I would like to. Yeah, I know. I would.
I'd be afraid of sharing it publicly in any respect, just because that's the thing I was told I couldn't do, and by someone I don't want to make mad for so many reasons. So many T-shirts in the drawer that I feel guilty about wearing.
Exactly. I've got my Now I'm Nothing fucking huge.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Wear it to the gym sometime. But cool, man. Well, my man, it's been great.
Yeah.
Seriously, very much appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you letting me convince you to pretend like you thought to put me on the show.
I did think it's just you were the one that actually said let's do this. Of course you were on the list for a while.
I'm learning now that I like to talk, and I'm also discovering that like as much of a music person as I am, like I'm kind of listening to podcasts now more, and I'm sure this is just normal for everybody now, that I'm listening to music, which is weird. So like I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of like
this is
podcast curious. Yeah.
This is where this is where culture gets made. This is where people are molded. Yeah. This is more influential than your fucking New York Times op-ed.
Yes, it really is.
This is it right here.
Like, if you want a bunch of shaved head freaks to go like storm a Capitol, you can do it with a podcast.
I mean, I wasn't a fan of that, but there's worse shit that's happened. Anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh, we can talk about that. I know you got to go. But, I definitely. It was like when they did it. I was like, why them? Like, we all want to do this. We all want to do that.
It's not
I want to go to the fucking Capitol and shut that shit down. And like, it's like such a cursed thing to talk about or associate with. Like, Oh yeah, and that's another video that that didn't get released, involved a certain recently canceled person who released a movie about the Capitol. Fucking Channel 5, dude, Andrew. If you know that guy.
Okay,
Yeah. He made a cameo in a video of mine that never got released, and I was super stoked about it. And then the fucking news came out, and like it was like, oh shit, okay, well I guess I dodged a bullet.
Right. Yeah. That's a shame.
But yeah. But yeah, like that was an interesting thing. I had a really weird. If we do really have to go,
we don't have to. I was just kind of, starting to steer it down. No. Tell me about this.
Just I had a job during like the pandemic where I was like doing video stuff for like a like somewhat political organization, and so like the day that January 6th happened, I was like all day just like compiling as much as I could as it was happening, as much live footage as I possibly could. So like it's weird because you kind of feel like you were there. You feel like I've seen so much. Like we were getting into all these like deep alt-right streams to collect data and collect videos and stuff, and like start editing stuff together and trying to have it out there before any other news organization was. And like just like for the whole day I was just like a fucking news center basically about January 6th. And so like it was a very immediate thing for me, like while it was happening.
Yeah.
And then to not think about it for so long, I just remember like thinking like this is the most goofy ass version of this I could have imagined. Like as far as like if you think about like the Tea Party in like the 1700s, or like the fucking like like revolutionary moments in time, and like to think that these fucking like people who have been completely misinformed and snowed are the ones who are actually like have the balls to go do some shit. So it's a very strange experience. Because yeah, like, and so many of them were convinced and went and did this thing, and they're the ones taking the jail time. Like they're these like misinformed people who were sort of crowded into this moment, and the people in charge who told them to do it, the news organizations told them to do it, did not see a single consequence. So it was this very interesting thing where I felt sympathetic for these people I had no political alignment with. I felt like
I just never understand. I mean, every election is stolen. It's not like every time the side that won is like they stole the election. I'm like, yes, they stole it. You stole it last time. Like
wait your turn.
So it's it's like
we're always stealing elections in other countries. I mean, we've been rigging elections in other countries.
Like, no, the election wasn't stolen. It's like, no, they're right. It was stolen, and then they'll steal it next time. Like, I don't know. Anyway. Bush
2 was all that shit. That's the whole. We don't need to.
Fuck all that. But okay. But yes, that's another unreleased. Well, see if you can get these out there sometime, man. I don't know. That would be interesting.
I wouldn't mind finding. One thing I've always wanted to do is throw a film festival. Or just collect all the music video directors and like do a film festival of rejected videos. Because there's some fire shit out there, and it's like some of the stuff that I couldn't release was for such funny reasons, and like that stuff was I would kill to show it off. Like it's hilarious.
Hell yeah.
I can legally say I did a video for Dawkins.
Oh yeah, and that never came out.
Never came out. Yeah, the dude loved it. He was like, okay, it's obviously a little satirical, but I'm with that. It's okay. You got to change this and that. And then the label guy and I had beef, so he kind of sabotaged the situation. But that's when I can say. But I would kill to show that stuff.
I didn't know they were still at it. And Dawkins.
They were, they like released some old tapes. Like I had to kind of like learn about them when they hit me up.
I'm not really familiar with. I mean,
all I know is like heavy. So have you seen Heavy Metal Parking Lot?
Yes. So that's
that's at a Dawkins show.
Yeah.
That's at a Dawkins show. Yeah. That's how I know who they are. Yeah. But you ask anyone who's like 50, and they're like, "Yeah, rocking with Dawkins." Like they know what it is. Yeah. Anyway, that's a great. Let's end on Doc.
Let's end on Doc, man. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Perfect.
cool, man. We will look for. Okay, so yeah. So everyone, check out the new Mizmor video that Zev did, and yeah. And what's the thing coming out this summer? Well, you can't say, but
Oxbow with the secret collaborator,
right.
and
yeah.
That's going to be a really gorgeous one. And if you haven't ever watched the films of Kenneth Anger, his death was announced today. They found his body. He had been dead for days. He died on the 11th, actually. But that is the person who got me started in doing what I'm doing. That is the. I mean, he was born in 1927, and he died very recently, and he was involved in every transgressive movement in art and film that matters since the fucking 40s.
Dude, we should have talked about Kenneth Anger for like fucking half of this podcast.
That's all. That's where my mind was at for hours before we talked. Like, I've just been thinking about Kenneth Anger.
Well, I mean, we don't have to actually wrap it up. I mean, we could talk.
I got more wine, and I am willing to talk. There's Kenneth Anger right there.
I only was winding down just because 2 hours tends to be the thing, but we can edit this shit. And and you know what? Honestly, I'm not super familiar with Kenneth Anger because I'm not a film guy, and
it is widely agreed upon that he invented the music video. First off, and that's a footnote in his career. This was he was a magician. He was an occult. He made his first film on the day that Aleister Crowley died in 1947, and basically adopted Crowley's philosophy into the making of art, into the making of film. He was friends with Cocteau and Jean Genet, like some of the best surrealist filmmakers of like the earlier, like the 20s and 30s. And then he went on to work with Marjorie Cameron, who, if you know who she is, she was this huge occult figure who was dating Jack Parsons while they were all having orgies with L. Ron Hubbard before he formed Scientology. Jack Parsons formed the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which then became NASA. But she was this occult. She was the Scarlet Witch, she's known as. Anais Nin, the erotic writer, was in his films. He was the grandson of a woman who did all of the costumes and set pieces for some of the best silent films like Nazimova's Salome, which is I'm extremely influenced by. And then he just dived right into the fucking 60s. Like, he was ready when the 60s happened. He was already doing all the drugs and doing all the occult shit and all the astrological shit with his films. So the 60s just kind of caught up to him. He worked with, Mick Jagger did the score for one of his films, Invocation for My Demon Brother, and then he went on to do Lucifer Rising, and he originally wanted Bobby Beausoleil to do the soundtrack. Bobby Beausoleil was one of the Manson family who ended up in jail, and Kenneth Anger contacted him to do the soundtrack for that. And then he recorded the soundtrack in prison, and then some issue happened, and he ended up hiring Jimmy Page to do the soundtrack. And Marianne Faithfull starred in it. So he was just everywhere that culture was happening, and transgressive culture. I'm also skipping over something huge. His first ever film was considered like the birth of queer cinema. Fireworks is this incredible film, and it's got it's very experimental, but that was his thing. And I mean, he definitely invented the music video. It is safe to say. A few of his short films were just one song, completely highly visual, sexy as fuck, strange, bizarre, druggy. Music video aesthetics just wouldn't exist without this person. But and so he was kind of like the Crowley of his time. I mean, he was this occult magic practitioner who used film as his ultimate media, and just highly influential, psychedelic, dark, satanic, fucking Luciferian, badass biker. Like, he had his finger in every pie, every cultural pie that you'd ever want to eat. Yeah. just a fucking badass. And yeah, and like I think I didn't really discover his work till the year that I started making videos.
All right. So he wasn't like an influence from way early on. It was like
I was aware of his stuff, but I didn't get into it, and I wasn't really ready for it until I was 2010, I would say, which is the year I made my first video. And my first video was very much inspired by him in that it was Salome. It was an old silent style Geneva Jacuzzi. If you know her work, she's basically she is like a silent film star alive today. She's a freak. She's incredible. And we were making this video, and I'd never done anything like this before, but I was like, okay, like I think I remembered some behind the scenes DVD commentary from Kenneth Anger where he was like, well, if I wanted to make a film with all these interesting people, I'd just throw a party and then I'd keep everyone fucking high, and then when it was their turn to be on film, I'd just cover them in makeup and costumes and put them on the screen. And that's what I fucking did with my first video. Like I threw a huge party, bought a bunch of drugs, bought a bunch of alcohol.
I remember your parties, man. I was at a couple of them. Yeah. I can't do that. Can't do it no more, man.
I'll keep doing it for you, and you can come to my funeral. But basically just through this party and how all of Geneva and Ariel's weird ass friends, just characters, just visually intense, interesting people, and of all shapes and sizes. And like, we just had this part through this. I built these sets out of cardboard on the fucking rooftop with like the fucking, Hollywood Hills palm trees in the distance. And I felt like I was in like a Kenneth Anger film. Like that night was such an important, formative night for me. And I don't know. It was just like, that's when I knew, Yeah, that's more of a good finisher, right? That
is good.
There we go. We did it.
Man. Yeah. Deep, man.
Yeah.
Well, I say again, thank you for coming. Thanks
for having me, dude. Yeah.
And now I'm in town. We'll get up. Are you still doing those crazy New Year's parties? You're not in that loft still, are you?
No. Now I'm in Greenpoint.
You're in Greenpoint. Yeah, you're at Greenpoint. I haven't seen.
I have a backyard. I have a smoker. We do big food stuff, and it's about time. It's about that time. Like we're going to start doing that again. So I will hit you up.
Good.
Oh yeah,
we'll do some summertime hangs.
Man. Oh yeah, we got a fucking cherry blossom tree in the backyard. It's
beautiful, man.
You're gonna love it.
I'm in an extremely social mode, having been just cooped up in LA with not a lot of folks out there, So
LA's rock, dude. LA's very attractive, and then you spend like more than a month there, and it turns on you. It's dark. I love that about it. That's the Lynchian vibes of that place are very interesting to me.
I know. It's like I am more into Lynch than I am into like, Martin Scorsese or something. But here I am, fucking Taxi Driver,
Yeah, in hell. Yeah, you're back in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's other directors that did cool shit in New York.
True. All right, man. Well, I will. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone. We didn't have a bunch of questions in the comments, but thanks for watching. And
I'm behind the curtain most of the time, so it's not. There's no offense there, but you've probably seen my work. Definitely don't need to know who made it, but now you do.
Right on. All right, everyone, like and subscribe. Join the Patreon. Blah 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 blah. All right, cool.
All right, homie.
Later
Talk to you soon.
Much love.
Peace.